Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be you're checking in. We're checking in the morning. Here it is 9 a.m. or so-ish Pacific in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest. I am checking in with my awesome friend Drake. He is in Canada. I am checking in from Washington. Where are y'all from? How you doing today? And it is time to get lit. Drake, are you smoking today? You seem pretty mellow.
I'm dabbing.
You seem pretty mellow today.
Nice and mellow. Just took care of some seedlings that needed some attention. It looks like I've got a bunch popping up, so I'm excited about that. Threw down like 100 little seedlings recently, and we're at least 80 or so that have popped, maybe a little bit higher. So hope the rest keep coming up, and then we have some selections to make soon.
Awesome. Okay, well, let me get chat popped out. Make sure, are we even on the, well, let's make sure we're on the right channel. Because
either way, I'm getting dabbed out.
Let's see, let's make sure. I'm going to get dabbed out here too in about 2 seconds. Here we go.
So everyone's starting their mornings off for
okay, we're good. I want to make sure we were on the right channel. Okay, here we go. I got to press some Congo, so I'm going to go in on some Congo. That's going to be my first thing this morning. I'm telling you what, that just might be my cultivar for the year.
I found a little box of hidden Congo that I still have to trim up, so I'm going to go out there after this and trim up some more Congo and get it put away and maybe do some swishing. We'll see how it's been over the last couple of days, neglected.
Nice.
Yes.
So how many days are you gonna let your stuff hang? Where are we sitting? Like where's your drying sitting at? Where are we at?
That's a good question and a good point. I should pull up my little Nitatmometer and see exactly where we are at and make sure I'm not too out to lunch here. Right now we are at around 17.5 degrees Celsius. Sorry about that, but crunch the numbers if you must. And 58% humidity, and then it's bouncing between about up to 18, a little over 18 degrees. I'll have to check the graph specifically. Yeah, we're getting high 18 degrees and then down to mid 17s. So pretty consistent temperatures, and then humidity is, we had a little bit of fluctuations the first couple of days, and it makes sense because of just the moisture overall that's in the product. So it's a little bit harder to keep it consistent, but we're bouncing between, let's see here, about 61 and 58. I think I see a 57 and I think I see a 62. 57 is a little low, 62 is okay. But yeah, so I'll keep it, if parameters all go well, sorry for rambling on here, probably 15 days or so, if things keep going nicely. Do nice and slow and get it rocking.
And what do you feel like your right temperature is you're going to be storing it at once you get, or your humidity? Once you get your humidity down, what do you think you're going to seal it in at?
So I'm going to put it into whatever the containers may be. If you've got a lot of product, usually like 5-gallon buckets or bigger. If you've got a smaller amount, just in jars or your zip tags or whatever you choose, get a hygrometer in there, get the product in there. Once like we have a little test. We go in, we turn off the fans, we turn off everything in the drying tent, we watch our meter, we see how long it takes for the room to get over 63% humidity. If it gets up to 63 or over 63% humidity right away, we know that there's still too much moisture in it, so then we continue to let it dry. Then once we have the product that's not going up above 63% anymore in the drying tent doing our trials, then we can, trim it down, put it into containers. But since we're still not 100% certain, we'll throw a hygrometer into whatever that container is and monitor it closely. If it ever goes up above 62, so if it hits 63%, we then open it up and let it go back down to about 60, maybe even 58. Seal it up, let it sit, and make sure that it does not climb above 62% during storage. Inversely, don't let it go below 58. If it starts getting too dry, there's not really too much to do.
Aren't there Bovita bags that say like 65? Why is it 62 then?
Oh, the 65 is for cigars. The 62 is one that's, I believe, it could just like, Lots of these could just be for cigars. There's cross-platform as well. 58 is usually what you would cannabis. 62 is okay, but it's a little bit risky for storage of cannabis. Anything
but
percent or over.
We're also talking about storage for smoking it. We're not actually talking about storage for pressing it. So if we wanted to press it, I would think that I would want my moisture content a little bit higher. Like, what's wrong with 65?
Yeah, the only issues could be potentially if it wasn't completely dried properly. Yeah, anything over like I think 60% is where you start to get pretty dicey. I'm sure you're going to be safe though, for the most part, as long as your product's dried properly, and then you add a little moisture to it with the Bovita or whatnot to get those levels up. Because you were saying, I remember you and Kathy always saying you really like that.
Speaking of pressing, dab time. I'm dabbing some Congo. Hey guys, welcome everybody. We're just having a little conversation about curings this morning. Drake's got his stuff going on in a tent. I was asking him how long he's going to be letting it hang in there. I'm taking a little break this morning. As you can see, I'm back in my cannabis cave, or shall I call it my cannabis studio here. It's a lot warmer in here than it is out there in that shop that I'm curing my product all in. I hope you guys have been enjoying the back scenes that we've been showing you, a little behind the scenes stuff instead of just doing our normal Wednesdays and Saturdays. But happy Shatterday, y'all. What y'all smoking on out there? What's going on? We got Dee in the house. We got Bingo Lombardi. Claude, how you doing? What's up, you all? What's up? Jaeger. That's what Bingo's got. Jaeger. He likes that Jaeger. Well, I'm going to go in on some Congo. So heating up. First stab of the day. Going to do me right.
Now I'm checking out all the different meters. You got me all metered up. Now I got to make sure everything's good. The flower room looks good. I'm looking at the chicken coop here. We've got two of these Netatmo meters in the 4x8 tent as well. So we've got one that's closer where the air conditioner, the dehumidifier, the 6-inch can fan with the charcoal filter, and the other fan are all mixing air. We've got one there to see how it's mixing. Then we've got one on the opposite side that's in the buds, in the thick of it. So both those look good. And our coop, I want to see what our temperature is in the chicken coop, because I put a little heater in there for the duckies last night. So we got down to
the duck coop, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't have no chickens?
The duck coop.
The duck coop.
Oh, nice. So it obviously cooled off a little bit more because I opened the door for them this morning, but I kept it above 3 degrees. It's 3.6 degrees, even though it was -5 outside. So happy little duckies, and happy JLF. All my stinky ferments in my 5-gallon buckets that are completely full most likely wouldn't do so well with freezing. So I've got all those inside the coop as well.
You don't think they'll do well freezing?
No, I think they'll probably break, just like most, just a container full, pop off. It won't be good nonetheless. And if they're frozen, they won't be processing. They will not be fermenting properly.
That's true.
Whatnot. So, all right, I think we're good. Double check. Flour, we're at 29, so that's like 85. We run hot up in here with LEDs. And 64% humidity, and we're day 43 or something like that. Like kick the humidity, right there is fine, but if it goes up to closer to 70 in the evenings, probably kick it down a bit. Just stay within the VPD range, and then just err a little bit on the side of caution, since we're getting some really nice structure and growth. I haven't had buds. The black garlic hasn't grown like this prior, so we're doing something better.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Woo, that Congo took me to the roof.
All right, my turn. Miracle Alien
Cookie.
Coming up.
Nice. I was talking to Drake about, having a little different type of shows coming on, and maybe discussing different type of things, like maybe, recycling practices or regenerative practices. And the reason that I had brought this up was because I was watching Shark Tank. I love to watch Shark Tank. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, definitely. I've always been an entrepreneur. My husband's an entrepreneur. However, I don't know that I particularly like the fact I am one that likes, to be a self-proprietor, I don't want to have a lot of business partners or have to have a corporation or something like that, which, when you bring in investors like that on the Shark Tank, that's what you get.
Just one good Canadian kid.
But that being said, There was a really cool product I thought on there. They had edible silverware. So they had like these spoons and they had these forks and they were all edible. And you could eat these spoons like in a it was like a soup or something, and they actually tasted, they had like a seasoning in it. And I thought, well, how good would that be? I would have really liked that as a kid, not to have to do dishes, all edible silverware. How cool would that have been? Save on all that plastic going in our landfills.
You can say that again. Okay, I'm going in. Finally.
What's up, CBC? Yeah, you said that 3 times ago.
Hey, fine. I'm going in.
Finally, you put the phone down, so now you'll go in. Quit checking your monitors.
Don't you doubt me. I'll turn that torch right back off.
Yeah, whatever. Blah, blah, blah.
I actually kind of need tame. That's a sad thing, but I think I'm going to just try to get through it. Squeak one more.
Hi, Kathy. Yes, remember to have live chat up. Correct. Thanks for reminding me, everybody, Kathy. Good cup of coffee this morning. Did anybody want to come hang out with us this morning, by the way? I forgot to throw the link out there in chat. Let me put that out there. Copy link. Here we go. Anybody's got some cool news you want to share it with us? There you go. Threw that out. It wasn't a spork. It was actually a fork. It was actually a fork and a spoon. Yeah. So the Congo, I can't even remember what day I let that Congo hang. The first day I trimmed, I'll have to go back and look at that. But I actually think, I think it's almost there. Like maybe another week. And I think I'm ready to like either throw it in the freezer and get ready to do some ice extract, water extraction, or do some more flower rosin press. I actually don't mind the flower rosin. I'm actually kind of enjoying it for a change. I kind of got bored of all that live resin, or rosin, I mean, not live resin, live rosin. A little too caustic. You're muted, by the way.
Oh, I'm just hacking. I'm just coughing.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought you said something.
Nope, just gasping for air.
Dab time. I need another one. Let's do this. You know, we should put some music on. Let's put some music on. Let's do it. You guys want some music on? Let's put some music on. We need some dance. Let's see who's on Twitch. Let us see who I'm following on Twitch and see who is on Twitch. See if there's anybody good fun on Twitch. We need some wake up music. Do we need some makeup music, John? John needs to dance in his chair, I think.
Yeah, John's ready to get going. I can feel
John's ready. I know it. John is here and John is ready.
Ready to
Ready? Boogie. Get the boogie on. Get your boogie on. Whoops. Let's see. Who do we have? Who do we have? What's on Twitch? Oh, none of my really awesome friends are on. They all must be sleeping in.
Having a little siesta.
Yeah, they all must be sleeping in. What the hell? Everybody's sleeping in today. What the hell?
Woof. Well, that hits the spot. Little coffee. Got sunshine coming in. Got to get outside. I did some putting the beds to sleep. Started on that. We've added our organic matter to it. And now I'm going to spread our mulch and all of our cannabis leaf that we trimmed off over top of that, and hit it with a little bit of JMS most likely, and let her sit. We planted earlier in the year, so we've got our cover crop that's already starting to grow, and we'll continue in the spring. Then it's just a bit of maintenance, all the fun maintenance to it. I chop down all the boneyard of stems and chop up all the small ones and leave them on the ground, and burn all the large ones so I can make our ash JLF, which is a potassium JLF. Quick one, only takes 15 days or so of soaking, and you're ready to use. So that'll be good. Yeah. And then just getting the remaining. I got a couple of JLFs. I said they're all in the shed, but I lied. I've got a few of like the biggest ones that are like the ones that I would be most upset if they broke, like 40-gallon garbage bins full. And they're not the lightest, and I have a couple steps to make it over, so I've been procrastinating. But I went and checked on them this morning, and I think because of the activity, because there's like, because you know, the putrefaction, fermentation, the breaking down, it definitely generates a little bit of heat, and they were not frozen. Whereas the other buckets I checked that were just water per se had like a 1/2-inch layer of ice, maybe 3/8. But yeah.
Cool.
So they might be able to last up to like -5 for a few hours for anyone out there that's screwing around. But other than that, you want to get them inside and above 0.
I'm trying to find some music for y'all, but I'm not having much luck. What do y'all feel like? Beach Boys.
Let's see, Tara in the morning, probably the Wu-Tang Clan.
I just don't know what I'll get in trouble for listening to on here and what I won't.
Probably everything that's not a mix. You probably get away with your mixes. Any of your mixes that you play should be relatively safe, depending if they don't use a hot song for too long, which they probably don't, unless they have permissions. Just wing it.
Just wing it.
Worst comes worst, you get a little slap on the wrist, or they take the video down.
There we go. Can you hear it?
Yeah, that's probably a great volume.
Okay, there we go. We are on NCS. They have a live channel all the time. Didn't know that.
NCS? Who's NCS?
That's that no copyright music that John shared with me. No copyright sounds, it's called.
No, you can find on the
live channel. We're good on this? Okay. Cool.
Oh yeah, you'd be good on the Insomniac stream too, probably.
Oh, okay, cool. I don't know.
Or like the EDC Vega, all that, like whatever those random ones you're listening. I can't remember what they were. I think it was Insomniacs. Or no, you were Wonder. What was the one you always threw on? Christ, super. It's pretty common. Standard live stream, dance music.
Tomorrowland?
Yeah, there you go. You always had the Tomorrow. You'd be able to put Tomorrowland on. Yeah, you can throw that on. You shouldn't get copyright for that because it's all.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's lots of mixes, mainly like, well, not mainly, but quite a few underground people that probably be happier to be getting shared than not. Maybe not on, little old our channel, but hey, doesn't hurt.
For our big audience. Which I love my audience, by the way. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us today. Hello, Cheddar Bob. How are you? Oregon State soundtrack by Jerry Garcia. Who's that?
Jerry Garcia? Who's that?
No, I know. Okay, I didn't actually know who Jerry Garcia was a while back. I did figure out who it was, but Oregon State. What's the Oregon State? Is that just the Oregon State? Is that the name of the soundtrack? Is that what it is? That's what you're trying to tell me?
Or maybe it was a live event or something like that. Something awesome.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Okay.
One of those things.
Okay.
Cheddar Bob, you should jump on. Come chill.
Yeah, come hang out with us.
Show us what's good. I love listening to what you got to say. That goes for everyone out there. Your comments too, even for those of you that lurk in the shadows a little more and aren't hopping on random channels. We still appreciate all your inputs, and even those of you that just sit and listen, we appreciate you too, because hopefully you appreciate our inputs and the other people that we can bring on for you. But if you're back there in the shadows, at least like, share, and you're probably subscribed. But if not, make sure you are and hit that bell. Get on live chat. Like Kathy said, you don't want to be getting filtered out. And you know what? Fumora's right. You can even smash that thumbs down, but just make sure to hit it twice for good measures. How's that coming in for everyone? It's pretty good for me. It cuts out when I speak too, so it doesn't bother me. But how is it for chat? We definitely don't want to be bothering you, but I feel like it's a good volume. If me without headphones can hear it nicely, I assume it would be kind of like that for most.
Yeah, I think it's coming in pretty good. What? Who's that? I was just teasing, man. Live concerted during the drug offenders at the prison. Oh, okay. Wow. I actually never saw that. I will have to go look that up. I'll check it out. John had his first frost this morning. Wow. It was another cold frost here. How cold did it get last night at your place, Drake? I don't know if it got frosty, but it.
Bringing out the meters again.
Oh no, now he's going to be stuck in Meterland again.
I can go do another round through and see if anything.
Drake is in Meterland. Okay, do you know, when you guys are, right now, how many does it say that's in our audience? Because I look on my phone and it says 0.
a whole 0.
There's 0 of you guys in the audience right now. Look at this.
Meter says.
Look at what?
Come on. That could be a 1 for all I know. There we go.
0. Look at live chat.
Keepers of the strains. What's good?
There's 0 of you all in there. That's why everybody's talking, but I have 0 people watching. What the hell, YouTube? You suck. Oh, you listen to that soundtrack over and over. I bet, you know what? Music is amazing. It really is. It helps you get through so much. I really believe. I love music.
We hit 25 Fahrenheit last night, or negative 3.6 Celsius.
You got a bit colder than me.
When I walked outside this morning, my frozen footprints just broke through the grass. So I could just have a little trail through just breaking the grass. Poor grass.
Hi, Josephine. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you all? Kathy's supposed to jump on here, but she's got her landlord there, so she can't do shit while her landlord's there. So Kathy, we're gonna puff one for you. I'm puffing this one for you. Hurry up, landlord. Get the hell out of there. Oh, I want my sister to come sesh with us this morning.
Yeah, where you at? Come on, get the damn landlord out of here.
And all you lurkers out there, we're going to take a dab for you today. All you people in the shitty land of the red states, of all those lands out there that don't believe in cannabis yet. This dab's for all you. Let's do this.
For all the red state rebels out there.
Red state rebels. I like it. Yeah, that's a good one. The Congo dab for the red state rebels. Let's do this.
Cheers and shout out red state rebels.
Yeah.
See if I can squeeze even one more out of this poor little torch.
Go get some butane. Oh, cool. We got Cheddar Bob popping in.
Cheers. How's it going, Cheddar Bob?
Welcome, welcome. He's in trim gel too.
Can you hear me?
You can. Trim gel.
Right. How's it going?
Looks like you're in trim gel.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, trim gel, sort of.
We like it.
I don't
Sorry.
mind trimming. So the connotation of jail.
That's a bad word for you. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I've been there. This is a lot better than jail.
Honest to God, I always wondered why everybody called it jail. I did. When I first joined the cannabis community, because I'm fairly new to it, I always thought, why jail? Jail's kind of a derogatory word. But then I'm like, well, cannabis, it's a good thing for me to be in jail with cannabis. I'd be okay with it. So like, yeah, I could see where that would be a derogatory word. So what would you rather call it?
Just putting the work in, you know, because it's got to be done. It's just it's just part of the process for me.
I like it.
Yeah. I think probably that trim jail part came up because, you know, when you're trimming, you kind of like get into it and you're just stuck in that same spot, you know.
Small spot.
Like you get into it, you kind of are like, okay, I'll get this next one, and then you're there for like 4 hours with no breaks. And it's like,
if you've been around this the game for a minute, you might be used to meeting at a location, getting in a vehicle, going with someone else to other locations, leaving your phones and everything upstairs, going downstairs, your food and everything gets brought to you. You stay in that room downstairs with no phones, your gloves on, no smoking, and you're crushing, 12, 15-hour days. And lots of times it was for product because that's how the growers at the time really made the best out of it. And then you're just stuck there. Same things, no phones, because at the time there's a lot of, it's prohibited. So they don't want anyone with any sort of geo-trackers, no pictures being taken, none of that shit. So it was, in a sense, a little bit more, definitely not the comparison, but you got there, you didn't leave, you didn't have access to your technology, if there was technology at the time, and that was, it was a little bit different than what we do when we're trimming today.
Yeah, at least they don't make you get naked like when you're weighing out cocaine and stuff.
Right? There's levels to the madness.
Yeah. So, yeah, I actually, today, Saturdays, I'm usually a little busy with stuff. So I only catch you guys around 1 o'clock. But today I was like, boom, 12. I set myself up trimming and I was like, okay, I am going to watch the show today and hang out. Try not to be my salty self.
Well, even better, we hooked you and got you on. That's perfect.
And now you're on. Yeah.
You did. You started talking about music and stuff. And, music's always been a real savior for me. Especially Jerry, just his calmness of his music. I get fired up rather quickly, to a detriment, some would say, but I can put on some music and chill out pretty quickly, which is nice and fortunate.
Definitely. So people are agreeing with you in chat. They don't like the term trim gel. They are agreeing. So cool. I like that. Let's change it then. We're going to call it trim sesh.
Yeah. You know what?
Trim sesh.
What's wrong
Someone
with just
said in town, trim sesh. I'm trimming. I'm just
trimming, man.
Trimming time.
Yeah, I got some of this peanut butter breath.
Ooh, that looks beautiful.
Coming out. And then,
so what is the terpene on it? Is there actually peanut butter? Does it smell like peanut butter or
no? So it doesn't smell like your Jif or your, like your whatever branded peanut butter. It smells like an actual fresh made peanut butter. So it has that real heavy nutty nose to it. Don't be nasty. But it also has that Fruity Pebble OG in it. So the nose of the flower comes through that heavy, earthy, nutty quality. Then when you smoke it, it has a little bit more floral, a little bit more fruit come through. So it's a nice cultivar.
Sounds like it has a lot of complexity to it. I like that.
Complexity, yes. Absolutely. Yes. And this was actually a cross that I got from a gentleman named Brian Joubert, who passed away last year from epilepsy. And I got these maybe 3 months before he passed away. And
Wow.
I heard that he passed away, and I started growing. I was like, well, I'm going to flower these. I'm going to pop some of these seeds.
Of course.
And man, I got a beautiful, it doesn't look very big from here, but running this cultivar in a SOG style grow in 1 gallon pots. I have 36 1-gallon pots in a 4x4.
Yep.
And this thing puts out 25 to 32 grams per plant.
Oh, that's wicked.
Which is fine for me. I mean, I don't really need any more than that. And it's on a perpetual grow. But when you top this cultivar, it doesn't produce like that. The yield drops right off. So I was fortunate to be able to find or stumble across that sort of grow style with this. I took it out and I cloned it in the Aero Cloner. I was like, well, let's see what it does in the SOG method, and it killed it. So
that's awesome. And I recently switched to that too, just with living soil beds. I didn't do the technical SOG this time. I did, instead of 15 centimeters apart, I did 20 centimeters apart, but it still came out to 55 plants per 4x8. So pretty close to the same numbers. And then next round, we're going to try to do a significant amount more just by doing the every 15 centimeters. We free up quite a bit more space and can sneak a few in there. And yeah, just like you said, as soon as you top the plant, depending on the plant, it can, if you have a long time to veg, you can obviously work and benefit, or high stress, low stress training, whatever, for making the epic scrog netting work. 'Cause I've done, a fair amount of that, but for just overall ease, and then keeping those tips on the plant, those areas that have the highest concentration of the, hormones, so on and so forth. You don't really want to, well, I don't really want to, you do whatever you want, but I don't really want to chop the heads off these plants and remove the most vigorous parts of it. I would rather, if you're trying to allow, say, bottoms, if for in Sea Green, you're not really encouraging bottoms, you want one stem. You're actually doing the opposite. You're planting so close together in a living soil bed, or as Cheddar Bob said, in 1-gallon pots, that you're encouraging it to just grow one straight, awesome, epic cola. And then if you've got 55 or however many of those per 4x4, 30 of them, you do the math. It works out really nicely. And then there's less trimming, less everything. But if you, for instance, wanted to, get the same results as topping without removing the top of a plant, you can remove every family, any family if you see where you can see actual stem. So right up to the very last 2 little poking leaves that are coming up out of your plant, you can remove, say, if your plant's 18 inches tall, you can remove 5 inches of those families at the top, and that's going to encourage any of your lower ones to catch up, and it's gonna slow it down as well, but you don't actually have to cut the top off. So there's a little bit of a rabbit hole, but nonetheless, what I wanted to say is I'm really enjoying seeing this style as well. But since I did them a little bit too far apart, 20 centimeters, I've encouraged a little bit of lower branching. So most of mine have at least one set of lower branches. So there's usually 3 colas per plant, and then I'm not getting that one monstrous cola that we're looking for, right? Because the plant has to redirect energy to those other branches as well. But so much fun. It's a lot of cool to see, and I love trying to incorporate it into this kind of living soil bed style.
Yeah, I personally have never been that person who sees the giant colas like this and it's like, oh yes, I want that. Because growing up, I was always like, my thought was, there's so much stem in that. There's so much, it's beautiful to look at, but
why is there always gold in the middle?
Yeah, I like the little, golf ball-y sort of formation flowers. They're just so much easier to deal with, so much easier to trim. And to me, they have more of an aesthetic beauty to them. But, to each their own. But
and if you can get consistency, if you can get a whole bunch of those little golf balls, it's perfect for hash and everything too. So you don't have to buck things down. It's just a nice size to get it going and wash away or dry away. Go ahead, Tara.
If we think about it as a mass, as a production, and like you're saying, there's that big stem in there, right? And smaller golf balls where literally you don't want to smoke the green plant material. You literally only want to smoke the trichome, the small head. That's where all this, medicine, all the product is located. So if you have that big mass of green, you're just smoking all plant. Like that's like, is there like really trichomes in all that plant material? Like, I mean, that's
debatably a little something something for sure, so we don't get too crucified up here, but definitely majority is in the heads. Yes,
like that's why we like hash, like that, or I like hash.
And we got things like Fritaline and there's like I want to say a few, but there's probably many that we're not even aware of yet, but specific terpenes and compounds to the root zone. So it depends, specific ailment, you may need a very odd section or portion of a specific plant. But yeah, overall, the most people want the head. I personally
want the grape. I want the head. I want the trichome.
Get the grapes. I'll take the roots. We got a good thing going on.
I'm calling it the grape. I want the grapes. I want the grapes off the tree. I want the grapes. That's what I'm collecting. And but there are other things, I'm sure, in the plant, in the roots, all the other things. They're going to find lots more things later, I'm sure. But right now, I want the hash. That's what I'm after.
Yeah. What are we up to? 123 different cannabinoids, I think.
More. I think it's over 2 now. It's definitely over 183. 2007, it was like there's like 480 some compounds that were found and cited by, I can't remember buddy's name. So I was just looking at it because there's like 10 miscellaneous cannabinoids that is listed there. One being like a fucking 3-sentence long mouthful that I think I brought it up the last show. Actually, it's a pretty hilarious name.
But yeah, there's the longest German word.
I mean, it's great. Give it a run for its money. It would give it a run for its money with this miscellaneous cannabinoid. And then there's unidentified ones as well. Well, they're unknown yet identified, but there's no standards to actually repeatably produce these. And now I'm probably getting over my head and misspeaking, so I better be careful and watch out here. But yeah, there's a lot that are being found, and it's just ongoing every day. But yeah, I believe over 180 for sure, but I think we might have crested 200 recently as well, which is great. So just tons of compounds
that have been identified and named.
Exactly. Yeah. And most of these ones have, there's been some. Well, maybe I won't go too far into it, but yes, they've been found.
Looking nice.
Yeah,
I got me a bag of Conga right here that I want to press out some more today. And then I got me another bag here of, what is this one? Oh, this is Zelly's gift. This is from cultivar from Dragonfly Earth Medicine, and it's actually has some lemon to it, and I'm really impressed. Really impressed.
Now,
Look at that. Music got loud.
I noticed the other day that you had all your plants hanging in the back, so you dry trim. Yeah. I'm a dry trimmer as well. I in 20 years, I think I've wet trimmed one harvest, and that was like my second grow ever.
I did one, and it was my first and last. And last. Never do it again.
Yeah, that's all it took.
Yeah. And the guy, okay, so not all of that cannabis that I had hanging behind me was mine. It was actually some of my friends that I'm helping process. And I am helping him process because he wet trims every year. And I can't get him to change because he knows no better, right? And I'm like, fine, let me take your weed, let me process it, and let me show you how much better my shit's going to be than yours, because he always thinks his weed's better, right? Everybody always thinks their weed's better. So here, let me process your weed. It's still your weed, but I process it, right? And he's gonna shit his pants. He has no idea how well it's gonna taste.
This isn't mine. What did you do with my stuff?
Yeah, that's exactly. But he's tasted mine now the last couple times, and I'd be like, this has been in a jar for over a year, and he's like, wow, it still tastes good. And I'm like, yeah, because it got put in there well. It sucks because, oh my God, you can grow all these big, beautiful plants. He grows like these beautiful trees, like 15 foot, 12 foot, 10 foot, all different huge bushes, big colas, beautiful plants. And then he just ruins it in the cure, like every year, it sucks. That's the thing that stresses me out, is curing every year. This is the most stressful time of year for me. It's like I could do all year, grow whatever all year, and this is the time you can ruin it. Right.
The reason
now.
I'm checking that meter so much, Tara, there's like
I know.
If it gets below 58%, I'm an unhappy guy. If it gets above 62%, I'm an unhappy guy, because we're just, anything over, honestly, 58% in general is usually craft farmer level or smaller and screwing around, so we can have the option to get the kind of highest quality. Whereas anything large scale, it's like you'd be lucky to get a 55% dry. They need to do under 55, and that's what's recommended and encouraged and potentially forced by investors, so that they don't risk molding out their crop, because the science shows that anything over 55, specifically 58, definitely over 60, is really pushing the boundaries for your, if you have a warehouse filled and one area starts getting some issue, molds or detritus or some sort of, it can really start spreading quite quickly. And if you're in those ranges where it can thrive, that's a no-no. So it's only a smaller growers are able to do so. And yeah, it's very stressful. That's also like, it's not, things can go bad quickly, but I'm sure lots of people that have been growing for a long time also know that sometimes you can just hang it up in your shop. And last year or the year before, maybe not last year, 2 years ago, I just hung it up in my, I've got a covered deck. So I just took the bottom of the branch and stuck it up in there and broke it and let it hang on my deck. And it just happened to get good weather for it, and it seemed to go well. But it's a tedious time, because it just takes your medicine from the A's to the C's real quick, right?
Real quick.
You lose all your turn.
Like people think that growing is the hard part, when yes, it can be challenging, but the cure in the dry is the finesse, is where your patience comes into play, and like you were saying about the commercial places, they don't have that. They're getting it out the door before it hits.
Time is money.
Yeah.
Time is money. Well, we need this turnover. We need this, we need this shit selling now. We need this in and out. And that's it. The cure.
You can cure in the turkey bag.
Can't risk failing microbials either, right? So if you dry in a little bit too of a humid condition, you might still have honestly banging product that, and this is now again over my head, that has some sort of microbial, especially Canada, because we're so anal. It doesn't matter if it's good, bad, or even looks like a microbe, you're failing. So it could have something that's potentially not even, detrimental to yourself, but just because it wasn't quite, done at a dry enough temperature, something was able to take hold, and now that whole crop is going to fail, which is millions of dollars in some of these instances.
So IMED says he's having problems. Really hard to keep the humidity up, and I get that because I'm in a dry place too, IMED. So for me and how I settled that, like I said, I learned that the first year. Wet trimming was the number one no-no. Never wet trim if you're in a dry area, because it's going to dry out your plant super, super fast. So the one thing that I learned was to try and keep it the biggest clump that you can. If you could actually hang a whole plant and leave as many fan leaves and everything on there, that will keep the most humidity in there and let it dry the slowest. Okay. Now I live in an area where that's what I like to do. Hang the biggest amount, leave as much leaves on there as I can. However, I was dealing with my friend's crop this year. His crop's different than mine. His colas are huge.
15-foot tall plants has a lot of families.
Big freaking colas, like literally somewhere literally as wide as this freaking jar. And I literally had to cut them down because those would have molded. They like way too wet inside of there. And so it literally depends on how you're drying, what you're drying, where you're drying, what your outside environment is. All these things matter. So when you take any advice from someone else, take into account where they're starting or what they're starting with. Go ahead, Drake.
Exactly. In regards to with the wet trim too, like the standard old school, just those like drying trim hangers you got. That's like many a time had scissors at certain grows working away and just trim, wet right out of the room. They're throwing it onto those things for 3 to 5 days and getting it out the door. And that's where, even if you had a good product that you were growing, it's pretty well indiscernible from all the other mids by the time you get it out the door. So that's never good. Now, for if I presume I was talking about drying conditions. If it's growing conditions, that's a whole nother, yeah, we deal with that and it's a bitch. I got big ass humidifiers and stuff because my room's not sealed and it's a nightmare. And I've made it work. It's this quasi weird room that's not actually proper. Like I'm not venting all the air in the room every minute and it's not sealed. So I'm changing it. That's the next thing on the go. But so far it's worked, knock on wood. I'm not having issues, shit ton of airflow, yada, yada, yada. But if you're talking about drying, you got some big plants. First thing, like Tara said, it's the sacrifice. Do you want to make your life super easy trimming, but have really dry, kind of more midsy product? And when I say midsy, I'm not trying to be, that's just how I refer to everything. If anything happens along the system, it's now boof, even though if it's prime product. So it's just kind of, it's kind of a slighted tongue there. I'm not actually, it can still be fire. But if you want to make your life easy for trimming, or you want to have all those families on so you can slow down that drying process as much as possible. So now that plant has to, evaporate all the moisture out or so have you from the leaves and the stalk and everything and the buds, not just the buds if you were to wet trim them and throw them onto one of those racks, which happens instantly, and your poor terpenes. There's no time for the waxy membrane to harden up and actually enclose around them and protect them, which is what you're doing with this slow cure process. And then allowing a little bit of modulation too, right? You're not instantly changing the temperature. So those terpenes and those other compounds in there that maybe we don't even know yet are able to have whatever reactions they need to have. So certain ones are just going to off gas off. Other ones are going to change and kind of form into other ones. Other ones are going to just, be very similar. But as, again, being very layman with this, we can have maybe an alpha or a beta humulene. Who knows? I'm probably super wrong with the terminology there, but, certain things happen for certain ways. And I don't know why. Most of us don't know why. So it's like if we can ensure the most ideal process that's been given to us from people that have a much better understanding, or at least have paid people who do have good understanding to tell them what to do, we can just follow along and try to keep it as ideal as possible and get the product to that level. The drying though, I guess my extremely long and non-straightforward answer to that question or concern about humidity in your area is put the plants, aside from making sure you have good airflow and everything, as whole as possible, like Tara said, and like find a closet or whatever you can make work. If you have the ability to set up a little tent or have a poly area, a sealed room, if you can put those plants into a sealed room, no matter where it is, you're not going to have a problem with humidity. You're going to have a problem with humidity, but it's not going to be because it's too dry. You're going to have a dehu in there. And then same thing, you don't want your dehu blown on the plants and blah, blah, blah. There's a bunch of things to setting that up correctly, but just get it into a sealed room that's not much larger than the size of the plants with good airflow. And, you got to make sure you have a hygrometer or a dehu or something that can prevent it from getting, above 65%, let's say, or even above 60 if you just want to, be careful and not risk mold. But still, if you're like in the 30s or 40s, getting it in the 50s at least was really going to help your harvest overall. So sorry for blabbering so much, but I think that would be the number one thing to do. And you're muted again, Tara. But thank you, because I knew what you said.
I know. No, that was good. Awesome. Good going over all that. I was making kind of funny faces during all that, not because of you. I had some Congo.
It was because of me.
I had some Congo rosin on my finger, and so I'm like, I'm going to taste it. It definitely tastes like lemon. Definitely tastes like lemon. And then it got stuck on my teeth, and now it's kind of like stuck on my teeth and on the so I'm gonna be like messing with that through the whole. Yeah, it's kind of
rub it, and it's back on your finger.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of on this. So we're gonna take another dab. I got a big ass dab of Congo right here. I'm not dabbing that whole thing. I was just pulling it off the paper. But I am gonna take another dab with you all. I'm reading through chat here. Where do I subscribe? Did you mean like subscribe to the channel, or you're like, where do I describe what Drake was talking about? I'm not sure where I missed that, Alan. Subscribe to the channel. We'd love to subscribe to the channel. It's free to subscribe to our channel. It doesn't cost you like over on Twitch and that. Yeah, so it is free to subscribe here. And we do have a Discord channel. If you are interested in reaching out or getting into Discord, I would really recommend that. There's amazing, great information over there for free as well. What were you saying, Drake?
Just telling iMedic that's awesome. Let's see, recent comment. He just said he's got it right at 56% and 17 Celsius now. Nice. 17 Celsius has got to be just shy of 60, if I'm right, Fahrenheit. Like it might even be a little bit more shy than that, but that's in my mind not the end of the world. You don't want to go too cold, but not the end of the world because the humidity isn't quite It's not at 60, but it's also playing it really smart and at that safe level. So that's good to hear. Doesn't sound like, it sounds just like humidity issues in general. He said he got a bunch of snow last night, and I'm pretty darn sure. I just was like, maybe it's like a really aggressive frost I'm seeing on like the side of the mountain from here, but on the higher areas, I think we got snow. So watch out, Tara. It's coming for you.
Well, okay, so I only have 2 Congo outside, and then like some other little plants that I threw outside. They're just chilling.
I forgot you still have plants outside.
Yeah, I have two small ones, 2 small Congo. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see if I leave them out there. Oh, I also saw somewhere. I think it was Mike. Mike, I forgot to comment back. Mike had a really nice comment. He said day 60. I think he said he took off all his big heads, the colas, and then he lets the little buds harden up for another 10 days. I think that was a pretty cool tip. If you're out there listening to that, I thought that was a pretty cool tip. What do you guys think?
Absolutely. I do that with my indoor, actually. I run a scrog bed. So, I have major colas, and then underneath, I have all those secondary branches that I let go for about 7 or 10 more days. And most of the time they purple right up because they're not used to the intensity of light that they were getting before.
Oh yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Yeah.
So you get that real nice anthocyanin response on your bottom flowers, instead of them being a little bit more of that immature green color.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like that. Yeah, I didn't even think about it being that way. Good point there, Cheddar Bob. Now, we did that when I was in Humboldt, helping Wendy harvest last year. We did that. We took off all the big colas, went around, looked for botrytis, did all that, and then let the smaller ones harden up. And that's what they do every year at that farm.
Outdoors in Maine, it's a little bit harder
get in the cold. Yeah.
If you're,
I was California, right?
Yeah, you got to be aware of your environment. But like if you have a hoop house or something like that,
or your light depth,
which I would highly suggest if you're growing in Maine, we only have about 90 days total of good weather in the summer. We have a real short growing season.
Wow.
And so mold sets in like usually right around week 6 of flower, is when our weather changes and you start getting that really heavy, damp evening air and stuff like that. And the hoop house really just keeps that from settling on the plants and soaking into the center of the flowers and stuff.
Yeah.
So
get the same thing. That's why I'm so happy so far with the results from these Jadam protocols. But I need to wait until the drying can's done so I can see the stuff with the real cojones and find out if that is as good as the rest of the product looked. So my fingers crossed. I'm hoping for the best, because if that's so, I'm kind of head over heels, because last season, the year before, without going through so extensively, PM like a son of a gun. Botrytis is, if you were to we just don't have anything that generally finishes, but with the protocol and just cultivar selection, I have things that finished up more. But it was cool to see the same cultivars as last season finish further as well. So that indicates that either the soil itself or just the inputs that were provided to it kind of helped with it a little bit, or just our seasons are changing crazy. But that would be pretty insane over a 1-year period. But nonetheless, it was cool to just see like the leaves being clean, not having insect problems. I mean, aside like dealing with them, because we here we get spider mites, aphids, leaf hoppers, the fruit flies this season were insane, which aren't a problem for the cannabis specifically, aside from like if you've got thousands of them flying around and you had a whole bunch of plants, they're just going to land on them, and that's never good. So it really helped with all that. So it was just great to see. But we were talking like 80+% humidity, like 77% humidity for like the last 3 weeks of flower minimum. So it was up to over 90%. Like I was getting 94s for like, there was like 8-hour periods of 92+% humidity, because it would just rain and then just be just soaked in all night. And yeah.
No air movement, no
Exactly.
nothing. Yeah. It just like
biting my nails, but I would have just weekly applications and just being like, being really anal with it, doing a little bit too much lollipopping for the average outdoor, but just knowing that was coming. So I just did it anyways and tried to leave fan leaves, but I got a little lazy just because when your plants are, big, it's a pain to go in and just remove the nodes and not the leaves. Whereas you can just get in there with clean scissors and remove the leaf and the node and everything and just scale up a branch real quickly. So next season won't be so lazy, but.
Do you do anything to heal where you've cut, like where you've trimmed off leaves or whatnot, or maybe some branches? Do you put on any honey or any sort of thing like that to combat that soaking in of moisture to the new open sore on the plant?
So the best thing, well, maybe not the best. There's a few ways I'm sure I'd go about this, and I'm just constantly learning. So maybe I'll get some feedback and come back with a new answer quickly. But so far, generally the way we would do that is for the de-leafing or anything. It's only happening when the leaves themselves are showing that they have stopped providing nutrition for the plant. So not like wilted up and dying on your plant, because that's going to be a fucking issue but when you can easily just, and the leaf just comes right, just like you look at the thing and you poke it and it comes down. It still looks like a nice, healthy, almost bleached white, yellow leaf, really like the plant has in a very healthy manner removed, in a sense, almost everything from that leaf. Pluck it off and with clean hands, either gloves or wash them, but just give it the little push with your finger or the pluck down. So I'm holding like the leaf or the end of the stem and then just plucking, and it either breaks prior to the branch, which I kind of like more. If you do it at the right time pertaining to watering, you can have branches that break really like I'm talking leaflets that break really nicely. So instead of breaking at your main stem and then providing kind of like a wound, a sore to the open main stalk, you can actually have not the petiole, but the stem of the leaf itself will break in half. So then you still have a little bit of leaf there, and that little callus is at the end of the leaf, and then eventually that will just dry up and die. So we usually try just not to do any disturbing at all this season, because I had to do that lollipopping, bunch of cutting, bunch of lollipopping all throughout the day, come back first thing in the morning following. And we do our the Jadam sulfur application, which we only do a few times through pretty well like right prior, during transplant into the fields. And then you can have it a couple times throughout, and then you just follow and mitigate accordingly with your surroundings. If you've got a bunch, like if you're in an area like this where everything's got PM and stuff, you'll be spraying your cover crop in the surrounding areas, so on and so forth. But
what's
so
the Jadam extract for sulfur?
So we source lab grade, pharmaceutical grade sulfur, so 99.9, which is the kind of the key difference. Most sulfur is agricultural level sulfur. So it's like, 90%, 92%, less percent. Don't need to throw out a specific number, but it ain't 99%. And that means there's just impurities in there, and it's not as clean and a lot cheaper. So we source our lab grade sulfur. We do our, again, we could go over in the future potentially just the whole process, because we love chatting about it. And I believe Sammy actually shared a link to our Discord already, which is awesome. So I got to give that a quick plug, just because it's got most of the information there, and we are slowly uploading more information to it. We're not extremely active in a sense, but it's just there to kind of read and have another area that information is laid out in a different sense.
So yeah, it's a great place, like if to have something at your fingers. Like, so say these days, instead of having this book, I don't have this book out there, but it has the everything in it on the phone. You can go right in there, see what your measurements are, what you need. Drake and a few other people have been helping us on the back end on that. So thank you, everybody out there that's been helping us do that. We really, really appreciate that. And all the people out there that share knowledge with everybody out there, we really, really appreciate. To share more knowledge is just to build our community stronger and stronger. I appreciate it.
And just to be a little more anal, I did pull up the Discord just because, I mean, perfect time to plug it and then talk about it. So we've got our 99% sulfur, as I mentioned.
Do we want to share it? Do you want to?
It's on the phone, and it'll screw around. So I'll just rip through it here, and then we can do a sulfur episode, and then just talk about that. Maybe even make some more because I need to make some in the near future.
Well, I was like, I could maybe share it. That's why I was asking.
You definitely can. I'm just in the JDAM sulfur section of the JS liquid sulfur section of the Discord. But overall, for products, we have the lab grade sulfur. We've got our caustic soda. With that one, you need to get at least 90% purity, but the highest is better. It's just been tested, 90% purity made so that we know it's a repeatable thing. Then you have a sea salt and a clay powder or phyllite or rock dust. There's kind of like a grading hill of which you can select from. So anyways, we mix those together specifically with water in a certain way, and we end up with a liquid sulfur. Yep, there's a decent process to go through. But then anyways, you end up with a liquid sulfur. That sulfur in the JDAM system is used as our fungicide. It will help with any fungal issues or, just overall. There we go. So as far as the protocol, you go out in the morning prior to sunrise, an hour before sunrise, you use your sulfur. It's always used with the wetting agent and soft water. And the herbal solutions, which act as the insecticide. So maybe like the bracken fern or ginkgo berry or sunchoke or oleander or pokeweed herbal solution that we've made, the JDAM herbal solutions. So we've got our insecticide, the sulfur, which is the fungicide, and then our wetting agent that we always add because you have to have your surfactant. All of these tools have been tested extensively by Youngsang Cho in the University of Hawaii, I believe. There's a separate one in which I always mess the name up that they did a lot of work with as well, where he worked with Dr. Nam. But anyways, it's sprayed at that specific time in the morning. You have roughly your hour of set time before it dries up, so you can mitigate any fungal issues. Then once it dries up, prior to the sun actually coming out, you don't burn have any issues with having moisture on your plant when the sun comes out. Then anything that's dried now doesn't necessarily work very well as a fungal mitigation anymore. It's already done that job, but it is 100% plant nutritional value if made correctly, which is why we really stress making it this way instead of using agricultural grade sulfur, because you just don't know about the impurities in there. And then it can also be used for dunks if you are doing cloning or taking in plants, so on and so forth. And then we have a seed treatment that we do for all the seeds, just because, we don't know how people are packing their seeds. Most people they consider their hands clean when that's not necessarily the case. Even when you wash them right away, because our body just produces oils and stuff. We don't want don't necessarily want our microbes over some seeds and then send them off to a customer and then have them sitting for years. And then those, you just never know, right? There's just a lot of potential. So when we then open those seeds and we want to sprout them, instead of opening and sprouting whatever may be on them, we clean them off we rinse them with water, mix them with the JDAM disinfectant, which is the sulfur 1 to 500, I believe 1 mil to 495 mils water. Let it set for its half an hour. And then from there, we rinse it off. Mix it in with microbes, JMS, or either a leaf mold soil slurry, so to re-add the microbes and send it off. So anyways, there's a lot of different uses for the sulfur in a sense, but it's overall just our disinfectant. Like we use it for cleaning residues and all the fun stuff too, but mainly for dealing with any fungal or pathogenic problems.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. I think it's dab time for this guy.
In a nutshell.
Dab time.
Snuck an orange in, so I'm going to wash my dirty little hands.
Okay, you wash your dirty little hands there. All right. Is it dab time, y'all? How y'all doing out there? Thanks, everybody, for being here today. Really, really, really appreciate all the love and support out there, building this community stronger as we go. One person at a time. I see some new people in chat. Thanks for being here. Alan, Teddy, how are you today? Greens, Gatlin, how are you? Hello, hello. We got Zorro popped in. Hey, Zorro, how you been? Mad, what's up? You guys are just awesome. You're giving all kinds of hints and clues and all kinds of tips and tricks. Trick or treats. Tips or treats. Ticks or treats today. Trick or treats.
What are you dressing? What are you going as, Terry?
I have no idea. I literally thought I would have Halloween all planned out because I want to have a Halloween party, which we're planning tomorrow. Isn't it tomorrow? Tomorrow at 4:20. 420 tomorrow. And literally I have been in trim sesh and trim small quarters. And I literally have had harvest. It's been Croctober here, and I've literally been harvest. And today is literally my first day, even sitting here back in my room. This is my little Zen area. I've literally moved my whole area out to the shop out there because I have been trimming. I've had so much going on. So I literally don't know what I'm even dressing up for tomorrow. I have kind of an idea. So we'll see. I don't know. One of my awesome listeners in chat gave me a really kind of cool idea a while back, and they have no idea that they gave me this idea. So we'll see if I do that. I also I still might make a dab rig out of a pumpkin. I still might do that tomorrow. So if y'all want to come and carve a pumpkin with me or whatever you want to do, I'm taking the day off tomorrow at 420 and hanging out with y'all. We're going to hang out right here. We're going to have an awesome Halloween party. Anybody can come hang out. You don't have to have a costume. You can just come hang out, whatever. So yeah, that's what we're doing.
Nice. We homeschool.
Mm-hmm.
And so for my son's art project, we had him build a huge Jack Skellington.
Fun.
The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see it. Did you post
it
on Instagram, or you need to post it on Instagram at least? Or you can bring it to show it off. Come show it off on here. You'd be like, look, my thing's famous. It's on YouTube. Cool. I love the fact that you guys are homeschooling. You know, if I had a child today, I would really seriously probably consider that. Really strongly consider it. I really would. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, the mama.
It's amazing. Way awesome.
Let's
Way
see.
awesome. How many kids do you guys have?
We have 5 altogether.
Holy shit, you got your hands full.
Yeah. Huh? I said we have 5 of you little rugrats running around.
How old's the oldest and the youngest?
So her oldest is 23 and our youngest is 7.
Oh, it's 2 families. Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, okay. Yep.
All right.
Okay, here we are. Oh, oh my God, let me spotlight. This is cute. Look at this, everyone. That is so cute.
Yeah, so he's 7 years old.
He's 7 and he did that?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And then we did the presents.
Oh.
We got a little, it's kind of windy and wet.
Cute.
So.
Oh my gosh. That is awesome.
Little Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, that is badass. Well, he's badass. That is, wow, cool.
Yeah.
You can come to my house anytime to decorate.
He's a smart little kid. He's in 3rd grade. He's only 7. He's in 3rd grade stuff. He's not actually in 3rd grade, but man, that's what I did for my hoop house.
Oh, nice. Let me spotlight that. Here, let me get the spotlight. Yeah, there we go. Right off of the house. So it's insulated on the wall. There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's just like one of those half greenhouses that I made. And you know what? You guys were talking about I am doing a show. I have a raised garden, and then I have a raised hugelkultur bed that I do outdoors in. And this is the first year that I ran that. Greenhouse on the porch, and it's a raised porch. It's about 14 feet off the ground. And I had no issues with bugs. I had no issues with PM that I've had with them being on the ground. So I don't know if they were just kind of above some bugs zone or whatnot, but having them raised up high and not on the ground worked out really well this year. They were in 15-gallon earth boxes.
That's super cool to hear. That's the feedback that's important as well. Because I mean, I think that's pretty common in general, right? Like in even without being in a greenhouse setting, if you can have a tall enough raised bed, you kind of solve some of the issues you have with maybe just the low running critters, right? And you know, mitigation to some degree, depending on how you built it for, let's say, even slugs and snails. But yeah, it's super cool to see that with the added protection there. You just didn't really experience any of the pests, even like, say, lots of the aphids have wings, right? Can fly around and be trouble, but it's not like they're necessarily, jet fighters up there. They're kind of just along for the, they're not so precise.
There's like a stronger breeze up higher, than there is on the ground. There's a lot more stuff blocking any sort of breeze on the ground. Whereas though 14 feet above, I would imagine it's a little bit harder for the Top Gun, aphids to make it.
Exactly. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we have someone asking in chat how Kathy gets her cute little cartoons. Yeah, those are the Bitmoji app, by the way. That's the same thing that I used as well. It's on your phone, and you'll take like your own personal picture, and then it comes up and it has all these really cute little faces that you can be with your own personal one there. So there you go. That's what it does. It's pretty fun. Pretty fun.
That's pretty nifty.
Yeah, I love that. Talking about that gives me ideas, having the hoop house come off the hut. I've been wanting to build a hoop house like that off the side of our shop. But the problem is we have this big, beautiful tree that got planted there by itself. And it will kind of block some of the sun. So it's like, I don't know if I really want to put money into that now, because it's not really where I want it now. So now I'm like, so I really haven't decided. But like where you use that tent thing, that's not a structure like I was talking about building. So it wouldn't be as much as an investment, and it would be easy movable. So I like that.
That was like $118, $120 or something like that.
Because I was actually going to build a glass one. Like I was looking into that. So cool.
I wanted to do that, take the plastic off and use the frame and go find like old farmhouse windows or, old like all glass storm doors or something, and then build, a glass greenhouse out of those.
Yeah. Ahmed says, I'd love to run a full season outdoors. Yeah, I love growing outdoors, Ahmed. I can't imagine doing it any other way. I know you guys love your indoor grows. That's just you guys. Like, that's your thing. It's just not my thing. I really know that. And I admire you guys that can do that. But like, outdoors is my thing. And I don't just love growing, cannabis plants. I love having flowers all over my garden. That's what I really like about this regenerative farming and, no-till style and the whole, permaculture, not all, I don't know. That's monocrop, I guess I'm saying. I hate all that monocrop stuff, and I really like growing your vegetables in with things and all that.
Yeah, I feel I see where you're at. So yeah, it's rough weather around there and unpredictable, and you bet, Sammy. Sometimes, boys, it's just the way of the road. It's the way of the road, Rick.
Where are you on the West Coast, Drake?
Yeah, I'm in like Okanagan, BC. Like we're like Kelowna, like 5 hours, some direction of Vancouver.
A direction.
Yeah, well, one of the directions from Vancouver, 5 hours or so, you'll find me.
That's like me living on an island. People are like, how do you get to here? And I'll tell them, and I'll be like, if you hit water, just turn around. You're on an island. You can't get lost.
Just keep trying.
You'll find it eventually.
Yeah, no, we're pretty far out west. We're near somewhat to Dragonfly too. They're a little bit further over, closer to Nelson, so another say 3-4 hours
All right.
Yeah, so it's good, but we get same thing. We get pretty late spring, summer in a sense, like not horribly, but the earliest most people ever want to plant would be like say May long weekend or the weekend after. Sometimes get cheeky the weekend before, and then end of September those rains come in and it starts getting colder and humid. And like I've been playing around with my meter, loving it. And yeah, we literally for the last, like I said earlier, the last 3 weeks of flower were no less than 77% on like the sunniest, nicest, most, least humid point of the day. So it's like, that's not necessarily ideal once you just start to hit bulking or just start to hit even budding. And it's like, okay, let's just have them sitting let's have them sitting in a clone dome for the next 3 weeks.
Why don't you just rain? Come on, just rain.
Yeah. And I mean, in the evenings, it pretty well, every night it would rain. The morning you come out, and even if it didn't rain, there's so much dew, the plants are just wet. So that's why I was pretty blown away with just the whole system that we implemented overall for not having crazy loss of crop. So.
Yeah, where I am, I'm like the ocean is maybe like 800 yards down the road. And so we get this, in the morning, we get this oceanic fog that comes all the way up here and like sits for a few hours in the morning, and it'll flush out at about 11 o'clock. And then about 4 or 5 o'clock, it comes back in and it sits. So we're really only getting we're getting UV through that weather, but we're not getting that punch of sunlight for the amount of hours that we really need, at least in this area. So it's growing outdoors it's a complicated process. And that's, for Tara about the indoor stuff.
I'm lucky, dude. I'm lucky where I live.
Yeah, I'm kind of forced to grow indoors because of those situations. I would love to be out in Oklahoma, Texas, Arizona, where I can get that like fucking grow season that seems to not really end.
Pretty much, right? Like you're talking about people are just still growing outside in winter. I'm like, what's going on here?
Come out west, young man. Come out west, young man. Isn't that a song?
I lived in California. I lived in Napa in 2005.
I wouldn't have liked California. Yeah.
Cali wasn't my deal.
Yeah, no, I'm not a Cali fan. Not a Cali fan. Yeah. I'm a Washington fan for sure. Maybe Oregon, Eastern Oregon. I don't mind visiting western side, but like I won't live on that side. No.
What's the western? Is that the Dalles?
The Dalles?
The Dalles.
The Dalles. The Dalles is like on the way. That's like halfway there between here and there, kind of like our halfway mark between here and Portland, I'd say, on our way down. That's where we normally stop and get gas. We drive that gorge all the way down. It's a beautiful scenery though. Like we have, I always talk about our scenery here in the Pacific Northwest because it is beautiful. I love it. Love our scenery.
Yeah, I'm medic for something that might finish in time just because I'm doing the same thing right now. I already purchased them and I've popped beans and I'm going to be doing some hunting and hopefully self project over the season so we can have beans for outdoor as well as just plants we select for clones. But been referenced by Sungrown 707 a whole bunch. He keeps touting them a whole very highly. The Hella Jelly from Humboldt Seed Co. It's the notorious THC cross to very cherry F4 or something like that, but it's finishing in like 45 to 50 days, as well as their lemongrass, very similar finishing. And then he hit me up recently, Sungrown, and said you might want to check out the Mountaintop Mint. Seems like it doesn't need a ton of light and is highly fungal resistant. So, I don't have firsthand experience with those, but Sungrown 707 definitely rocked out that Hella Jelly and maybe even some lemongrass. I can't recall. I'll have to talk to them. Check out his Instagram page.
And Rebel Grown Seeds is another one he likes, Sungrown.
Yeah, I know. Just these ones were just the specific cultivars, just for the really early finishing.
Really early finishing ones. Okay.
They sacrifice some. I always am skeptical just on the overall compounds in it because they don't have that time to form over, say, a 10 or 15 week cultivar. But hey, here, if it's either no plants, like you either get molded plants that you work all year that you can't harvest, or you get plants that finish and are still pretty damn awesome, I'm going with the latter. So, you know, check out those Hella Jelly for sure. The lemongrass and the mountaintop mint, all from Humboldt Seed Co. For 45-day roughly finishers. So at least even if you had to pull early, say September 15th, because you say September 25th is the end of the road for you, you might be able to have some form of harvest. But I don't know. I haven't run them yet, so hopefully it's
I have some perfect pearl from Souvenir Seeds, which is their cross with Early Pearl, which is a finisher in 45 to 52 days.
Oh, that's awesome. And how's the experience with growing that one? Is it just like ridiculous to see the growth every day on that compared to like?
You know, I haven't actually popped them. What I want to do is I want to save those for when I ever get into a breeding practice besides breeding humans. You know, I just have a feeling that those are going to be something that I can work into a cross that will function extremely well in my type of climate.
Totally. You sound like a smart man.
Well, I'm glad I sound that way.
Too funny.
Dab time.
I'm loading one up, but yeah, that's
we?
exactly what I wanted to get into. Just get them going, get some seeds ready in rock, and see if I can make them work in this area, and then be able to just do like direct seeding right prior, you know, a week or two earlier than May long, because you can get a little sneaky with the seeds if you have a good mulch, and not have to worry as much, right? If we can just self and get a lot of gear to work with that isn't freaking $150 for 10 beans, it'll be a lot less stressful. And then just, you know, we got some good space to work with, and here in Canada and BC specifically, we're blessed with our licenses and all the fun stuff. But Tara's ready. What's up, Tara? Tara's stretching. I thought she's going. I just thought she's going. She's the break. It's either dab time or she's got announced.
Done. Got it. No, I'm sure. I'm stretching.
Stop right now and dab.
You know, after trimming and everything, you know, being out there on my legs, you know, I'm like really feeling like weird joints and shit that like muscles that, you know, I obviously don't use, you know, and so yeah, I'm really feeling feeling my age right now.
It's like that,
and
meme.
The cold weather.
Like that meme, what the predator sees after chasing me for 15 seconds.
Yeah, it's straight up and down. That one gets me keeled over. That's such a good one.
That is a wicked good one. I'm like, I feel that. I know that.
I'm like, wow. Yeah. So I'm thinking like it's been an awesome show. I love hanging out with everybody. We're going to be back in tomorrow. So I'm thinking we should let everybody go and get on their awesome merry way and have an awesome, happy Shatterday today. Because I still got a little bit more trimming to do. I'm going to press some more Congo. I'm going to have some more presses for you guys. Maybe I'll do a press on the Halloween show. Maybe that's what I'll bring out and do a press for you guys of the Congo. That would be kind of cool. Maybe I'll do that. We'll see. If you guys want to see that, let me know. If not, we'll just sit on my ass and we'll carve a pumpkin or something. I don't know what we'll do. And who knows what I'm going to be dressed up as. I don't know. Drake, you got something planned, I hope? You know?
No.
I know you do. Yeah, I know. We planned ahead. We really plan ahead for here. But we do plan for dabs. So let's take a dab. Maybe we can get Cheddar Bob's kids to paint his face up, and he can join us, and we'll see what he turns up. Wouldn't that be fun if I had a kid? I'd let him paint my face, you know?
Yeah, they'd probably paint my nose and mouth closed.
Right, I have so many Halloween clothes. It's ridiculous out there. I could literally be all kinds of costumes. It's ridiculous, the Halloween stuff. I love that stuff. But thanks for joining us, Cheddar Bob. How does everybody find you? Yes, let's talk about that.
You can find me on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel at Cheddar Bob 13. I also have my Instagram, which is CheddarBob13, and Cannabuzz, which is CheddarBob13.
You made it easy.
Also,
that's nice.
Also, my Mario Kart is Cheddar Bob 13. My Ultimate Golf is Cheddar Bob 13. No. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Are you a Twitcher? Do you Twitch?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay, Twitch.
Nope.
It's a gamer platform. Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah, my Xbox Live is also Cheddar Bob 13.
You do that, so it's an Xbox thing. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
but it's nice when people keep the same name all over. I really like that.
It's hard to do.
It is very hard to do because people still names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone sees it and they're like, "Oh, that's a great
cool
name."
Yeah. Or not everybody. Other people think don't. You're not the only one having those thoughts too. We're not special in the world, right?
I am.
We like to think we are. Look at the stars. Have some mushrooms. Have some fungus. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Cheddar Bob. It was awesome hanging out with you, and thanks for being support in the chat. Love seeing you, and I love seeing you in the community. We'll see you around some more.
I appreciate your time. Thank you. See you,
Hopefully
Drake.
See you
Peace out.
tomorrow.
Cheers. Good to see you, man.
That was awesome. Get to hang out with Cheddar Bob for a while he was out there trimming. I love seeing people trim their harvest because you're growing if you're trimming.
Means you got to harvest.
You gotta harvest. Okay. Did you already dab one out while I was talking?
Yeah, I'm dabbed out. I'm thinking about the next chores I got to get on to quickly here. I got some time before the next meeting, and I got to do some work here.
Did everybody, do you want to give a shout out at the end of the thing here? You want to give everybody a shout out while I take the last dab and say hello and goodbye?
See if I can't find a couple people here. And we do appreciate everyone for coming in. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. We need it, appreciate it. The industry needs it. The community, everyone's getting blackballed. I'm seeing Heavy Ice. The moderator is being given bans on Facebook just for saying simple thing.
Really?
It's all over the place. All these platforms. There's specific ones that do work well still. But nonetheless, we just all have to support each other. There's Discords on the go. There's all sorts of things in the background. We say it every time. You'll see us over at the NW47 Discord channel. Hit up Lemon Hoko on IG and ask him, and he'll get you hooked up. It's his Discord. Big shout out, Lem. And
thanks everybody for being here in chat.
Yeah, we've got Alan, Teddy, John, Maddox, Raymond, Pembina River. I know we had a discussion on the nomenclature of that. I'm sure I'm messing that up, but that's just how it happens. Kathy, Charlie's Farm, Sammy, my man. Holy smokes, overgrow, overlove, overcare, overshare everywhere worldwide. Right, John? Probably said that backwards too, but I think I got most of them in there. But nonetheless, we want everyone to have a blessed, awesome, happy, great, medicated day this afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter when or where you're tuning in from. So Tara, I'll let you close them out as always, and we're blessed to have you stopping by.
Thanks, everybody. As always, you can get a hold of us at Discord or over on Instagram. Same name, both places. And peace and love. Love having you here. Until the next live.
Up and able, you got it. Happy Croptober.